Welcome to the shit show.
Tom is hyped. Tom is hyped in a way that I haven't seen Tom hyped. I don't know, the Cumulus days, maybe like right when we just got out from under the thumb of the evil corporations. And by the way, if I could take a side note on that, welcome to everybody watching us live, listening to us later. A big thank you for being here. And a big hearty fuck you to the Heritage Foundation. Tom, anyway, back on to the subject of wrestling. Tom, you're hyped. You're excited.
Yeah, I am. But I love a good hate fest. What the fuck did you say? Hate to who?
Oh, I said a big hearty fuck you to the Heritage Foundation. Anybody involved with Project 2025, supporting it, you can go ahead and fuck right off on out of here.
Yeah, walk to the ocean and don't stop. That's what I say. Walk to the ocean and don't stop.
And everybody else, if you're still with us, check your registrations and get involved in local community organizations, right? Help each other out, be friendly. And
Hell yeah, brother.
Tom.
Hell yeah, brother.
And then watch wrestling where we pretend to beat the shit out of each other. And we did a lot of that, being the fine artists of All Elite Wrestling. We're going to talk a lot about that. I'm excited to talk about that. I know Tom is excited to talk about that. We had a great week of All Elite Wrestling. But is there anything else? Tom, what's new in Tom's world? You doing some cool stuff, Tom? You hanging out?
Well, got a lot of baseball stuff coming up. Got the All-Star game. Got a big Royal Series to get that last wild card spot against the Boston Red Sox. But yeah, this podcast, for anyone new, we are pro-science, pro-choice, pro-wrestling. So if you don't fucking like that, move on to the next one and you can get your nerdy shit from someone else. But right here, that's what we believe in. And we believe in having fun. And we like having fun by talking shit and fucking celebrating awesome shit. And last night was some awesome shit. Tim, I just told you right before we started recording, a motherfucker went through the wall on a forklift. And that's not even like the top 5 things of fucking coolest things that happened last night. Say that out loud. That's fucking wild, man. I love it. Let's kick it
that
up.
wasn't like that was like segment 2.5, right? Yeah. Like they buried that. Yeah.
Exactly. You didn't show me a picture of it this morning. I probably would have forgot about it. That's how much cool stuff happened. And it kicked off with last night, AEW International Champion, the Aerial Assassin, Will Ospreay, cutting a promo, Tim. So before we get into the promo, Will Ospreay talking. How do you feel about that?
Will Ospreay has taken on the face policeman role, right? The John Cena role there for a while where it's like, hey, this guy's being an exceptional dick. I take, offense to that. I'm going to beat you up for it. And it's fine. I think he's over in that way, right? So it works. He seems to be enjoying himself doing it too. And so I thought this was fine. And yeah, I think, look, we're pitting 2 of the biggest stars we got in a fight, and we're doing it quick, it seems like.
Well, I thought it was very interesting for how long he talked, and there was no one there asking him questions and prompting the next response. It was all on him. He took a very comfortable seat on the second turnbuckle. I mean, I guess he sat on the top turnbuckle, but his feet were on the second turnbuckle. And he cuts a promo, and he's just saying, hey, MJF, you piece of shit, kind of like what you said. You turned on Danny Garcia because you're a loser, and you're always a loser. And I heard that you were a loser. When I came here, you kind of weren't a loser, but guess what? You turned into a loser because that's what you are, a loser. And then here we go. Loser. And then here we go. MJF's music starts, and then we're like, oh shit, it's about to go down in Canada. And right before he comes out, he doesn't. And on the big screen is MJF with some wine, talking that shit. So, Tim, we move over to MJF's portion of this segment. How'd you feel about that?
This MJF as a face was great, right? I think the run was great. I think it was going fine, but this decision to flip it back, I can't do anything but smile when I see him. He's that good. This switch to the dark side of MJF, he's now got a dark Burberry, like black and purple scarf. Collision, he basically ran down. It's your fault, right? It is your fault why he's this way now because he opened up to you. all of you listening, you know who you are. It's your fault. I like this. But here specifically, yeah, I like MJF just taking, Ospreay being like, I've seen you guys come and go, right? Like this, once you can stop doing the flippy things, they're going to name the next flippy guy the best in the world, dog. Like,
Ricochet.
Sorry to burst your bubble, right? Paraphrasing, right? So, yeah, I love it. And again, I think MJF will have a soft spot in our hearts when he always speaks truth to that power, right? We've been saying that for 10 years, I think, about the flippy guys, right? Like, there's been precious little that have shown us like more than that, right? More than the flips. And I will say, is Will Ospreay that guy?
He could be. Now, again, rumor is there's a flippy guy on his way over, and if he starts doing his fun flips, well, we might change our opinion on Will Ospreay. He knows a thing or two
about Will Ospreay and the flippy things, right? Yeah, they go way back. So
with MJF, I think it's interesting because he opens up in two ways. One, he does say exactly what you said. Hey, I opened up, and then the next guy to come up, Swerve Strickland, he even name checks him. Then you left me to the side, and here's your hero. I'm no longer that. So I'm hurt, right? I like that. The second part, though, I know he's going to do well. However, has a lot of shades of Seth Rollins, I'm the savior of Raw. Remember when Seth Rollins did this, you know who the only one that can save this show is? Me. And then MJF is kind of saying the same thing here, where AEW needs to go to heights that's never happened before, and the only person that can do it is me. Now, I hope he doesn't go kind of playbook Seth Rollins, where then he becomes a cult leader and starts to have people following him. I hope he's still an individual, because I think that's what works best for him. But yeah, I thought it was interesting, the angle he took. And then when we got to Dynamite, nothing really new under the sun. Kind of said what you said, where, hey, flippy guy, you're the flavor of the month, and I'm the fucking backbone of this company.
Yeah. The extent that MJF, I think right now, at least, in this current character, should be involved with others is less faction and more like when we saw, like, hey, Roosh, thanks for taking out, wrestler X. Here's $25,000, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they're like, shut the fuck up. You're a bitch. And he's like, fuck you, right? Here's your money. Shut up.
Yeah, I don't want a Wardlow with him, or, Big Cass or whatever it is. Like
hiring a personal security for a short period of time, maybe, but like
even then,
have a person sideline. But yeah, I don't need a Big Daddy Cool for him or nothing.
Yeah, the only person that I think would have worked, and unfortunately he left the company, was the fucking tin guy, Ty Dillinger. But what's his name? Sean Spears. Yeah, Sean Spears, because when he was doing that thing where he was like, no, I kind of like this shit, and MJF is like, well, I'm going to unleash you on this person, right? That would have worked perfectly.
Yeah, manipulating, mentally breaking down Sean Spears is going into depravity. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would work. But again, like I said, I hope he does this solo. But it looks to be Will Ospreay versus MJF, I believe, next week for the International Championship. Episode
next
250.
week, and we want to know what you guys have to think about it. If you're watching us live, get in the chat, right? You can tell us what you think about everything that happened there, who you think's going to win that match, or you can send it to us on an email, aewrapup@gmail.com, or you can find us on the threads where Tom is out there diligently live threading during these shows at all_elite_wrapup. And of course, allelitewrapup.com for all the links that you might need. Subscribe there, completely free. Tom, what happened next?
Oh my goodness, we got one of the best matches of the year, and it's so crazy because in 6 months we most likely will forget that it happened because there's so much great wrestling. But I'm not trying to discredit how good this match was. We have the finals of the Owen Hart Foundation Men's Tournament Final. Kind of a word salad there, but you get what I'm saying. We have the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, versus Hangman Adam Page. And God damn it, Tim, Hangman is the fucking shit. Here's why. The fucking details matter. And that's why I love AEW. Quick side note. I love AEW because for the people that they do feature, everything fucking matters. And the first detail that just fucking stood out and just like, yep, I fucking love this guy, is Hangman comes out of the face entrance. He doesn't come out of the heel entrance. You know why? Because he thinks everything he's fucking doing is correct. You're the fucking idiots who don't see it.
Yeah, like, again, yeah, wouldn't you, right? Like, wouldn't you be the Hangman right now?
Yeah.
Another awesome promo, which I'm not sure if that one was Collision, although I think he gave us a great one on Collision, but there was also, I mean, Hangman's been given nothing but greatness with this whole thing of just that he snapped, right? He's out of his mind and he's on a mission, right? And of course, more on that as we go throughout the show. But yeah, this match, man, I knew we should buckle up, right? Like I knew we were in for something, and they delivered it. I mean, it took up a lot of time in the show, but I still think it delivered, right? Like, I mean, it was hard hitting. There was story around both of these guys, right, that didn't necessarily involve each other, but here they are on a collision course, and neither of them really were ready to back down. And what a match we got here, man.
Yeah, I really love the inspirations and the motivations for both guys. As mentioned, Bryan Danielson said, this is the last time I'm doing this full time, which again is the caveat that I don't think people are catching on. Like he could be back in 6 months. It just might be for a one match, but I ain't doing this for full time anymore. So I'm going out on top.
Bryan Danielson streak it all out.
Yeah. I mean, possibly, right? He just does the all in spot like Undertaker.
Yeah.
But then Hangman is all about.
He could do a submission match every year at All In, and we start running a streak like the Undertaker. That's believable, even if he's 60, right? Like I could twist you up. See if Kurt Angle can twist you up. Yeah.
So the motivation, though, for Hangman Adam Page is pretty clear. It's not even that he wants to be champ; it's that he wants to tear down Swerve Strickland, who took everything from him.
Got to get to Swerve. Yeah. Getting a title shot means I get Swerve in a match. It means I get to beat up Swerve.
Because this could be for the TNT championship, the international, like the championship is not what it's important. It's taking what he wants.
If there was a match that existed for a guaranteed non-title match against Swerve, that's the match Hangman would want to win, right? It's about Swerve. It ain't about whatever belt Swerve has. It's path to Swerve. Love it.
Yeah. And so we get this match. And another cool caveat is, in the history of AEW, Danielson versus Hangman, it is 1-1-1 as we go into this match. So they're tied across the board. And we get that good shit, Tim. We're going back and forth, back and forth. We got the Bryan Danielson's neck is fucked up, so the doctor has to check on him, but then haha and the LOL. But then we get Jeff Jarrett, who is our special enforcer, come down after the ref was taken out. And Tim, tell me what you think about Jeff Jarrett inserting himself into Danielson Hangman, and it kind of felt like more Hangman's story. How do you feel about that? What's going on with it?
Look, we shit a lot on Jeff Jarrett. I want to make sure I understand that, like, Jeff Jarrett has given his life to professional wrestling. That is awesome. I know he's a very emotional tie to Owen Hart and thus Martha, this tournament. That's awesome. That's fine. And like, if every year Jeff Jarrett is sort of like the commissioner, right? The Christopher Daniels of the Owen Hart tournament every year, fine. And needs to be ringside as an enforcer for things, fine. But like the getting involved in such a match like this, man, I don't know, man. Like it just seemed it didn't need to have him hanging around there. Like it didn't take away too much for me in the end. But it did feel a little like, oh, yeah, Jeff Jarrett is there. Because special enforcer, whilst you were a competitor, and you were a competitor that lost to one of these combatants, I don't feel like you're an unbiased.
Right. And you're supposed to be babyface, right? Well, and he's a babyface enforcer, right? It would make sense if you're the heel saying, like, I don't give a shit if this is bad ethics. I'm going to do it, right? So we get to the end, and Danielson is stuck in a submission. Jeff Jarrett goes to drop his hand. He doesn't drop the hand, and then he turns around, hooks Hangman, gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. Everyone's stunned. Hangman just fucking bolts. And here's a detail that I think is interesting. So he bolts, right? See ya. I'm out of here. Martha Hart comes down. Jeff Jarrett comes down. They present the championship and the trophy. to Bryan Danielson, which if you haven't checked it out, go to AEW social. Bryan Danielson cuts an amazing promo of why he cherished this tournament
Loved
victory.
Yeah, I just watched it.
Very good.
Yeah.
But here's
Upon your
then
recommendation, I just watched it actually. Tom, listen to
Yes.
Tom. He's got good advice.
I always got good advice.
Yeah.
You should always listen
by
to
the
me,
way-
unless you shouldn't.
By the way, we got a new person in the chat here. Jordan Kirby says, I believe Mariah will beat Tony at All In. And more on that. We are going to talk about that as we get through there.
Jordan, you
what a
hang
story.
out and
What a
we
story.
are going to talk about that. And I may cry. I may cry. Just spoiler alert. It was amazing. But here's the detail that I think is interesting. So they present Martha Hart presents the trophy to Bryan Danielson. They then exit the arena, exit the ring, maybe the arena as well. And Swerve Strickland comes down. So if you're Hangman, I bet you could hear that fucking music, right? It wasn't like that Swerve just walked down without any, pyro, or not pyro, but like any pomp and circumstance. He'd got the, Prince Nana dance and everything like that. I thought he's going to make the U-turn and we're going to get this like 3-way potentially, but we don't. We just get kind of a look at each other and then we get a Swerve promo. So what did you think about that ending of the match transitioning into this promo?
Yeah, I agree. I like the idea of Hangman bolting, right? Because Hangman, again, like, not upset at Bryan Danielson, would never beef there, wasn't like distraught about not getting, you know what I mean? Like the Owen Hart thing, it was, God damn it, Swerve. Now I got to go figure out a new way to get Swerve, right? Like, however, Swerve walks right in.
That's
right?
the part.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't as if, he bolts out of the ring. We see him leave the arena and then Swerve walks down. Like
Swerve walks by laughing like, what a dork.
I mean, yeah, you could have just, but we don't, right?
Oh, that would have been great if he's like, son of a bitch, fucking Swerve. He's like pulling his hair out, Swerve, and he like walks out in the garage, gets in his fucking car or on his horse, and like runs up, and Swerve and Nana literally come walking by, and they're like, "Where's that guy going in a fucking hurry, loser?" Right?
Idiot.
Like walk to the ring. What an idiot! Yeah.
So we get Swerve's promo here, and man, he throws some shade instantly at Bryan Danielson. So he congratulates him, way to go. But he is going to insert himself as one of the members for Team AEW in the Blood and Guts match. And he says he's going to do 2 things that Bryan Danielson couldn't. One, that's what did he say here? I wrote it down. He said 1, he already beat Will Ospreay, but then 2, he's going to lead Team AEW in victory against the Elite. So we get Swerve Strickland in Blood and Guts. As it stands right now, again, we'll go in chronological order. We fill in some more spots, but we won't get there yet. But as of right now, we have the Elite needing 1, and then Mark Briscoe and Swerve Strickland. How are you feeling about Team AEW so far?
Yeah, right. Team AEW, especially in mind that, like, we've been, as you said, all things are indicating that 2 of those spots are going to be filled by the Acclaimed. I'm like, well, Swerve helps, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it feels hodgepodge, right? Again, there's Mark Briscoe, who, is on the AEW roster, I guess, but feels like he's not. That makes sense.
Well, because he's the ROH champion, right? You visually look at him and it's not the AEW belt or any AEW belt he has. Right.
Well, and is like the Briscoe name is so synonymous with ROH, which is a thing right now. So it just feels, he just feels ROH. So yeah,
I think it's interesting. I think it is interesting. I will say this so far. Again, we don't know the rest of the spots. I think we get one more spot filled in on Team AEW later on in the show, and we'll get to that. But I do at least like that. And even though he's amazing, he is one of my all-time favorite AEW wrestlers, but we're not getting Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. Like, we're not getting the people that we've kind of seen in these crazy matches again, right? We're getting some fresh faces. Swerve Strickland, to the best of my knowledge, in AEW, other than that coffin match that he did with Sting and Darby and Christian, has not been in any of these wild, like these motherfuckers are gonna bleed. We know that, right? And so
Do you
it's good to
think
see that.
Jack Perry, they're going to use some glass in this thing, right?
They might catch his ass on fire again.
Well, like, but they're going to specifically use real glass for
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. And I
For
saw on
something.
social media, here's again where this fucking guy needs to grow up because it's so silly. And I saw it because it was a suggested post, but CM Punk said something to the effect that he wants to fight Drew McIntyre.
Oh,
He'll
yeah,
fight him anywhere. Hell, there's fans on this side, which I would say is a self-own, you fucking idiot, because the reason there was no fans on that side was because you were fucking leading AEW. Huh? Isn't that fucking crazy? It wasn't like they left once you left, you fucking nerd.
Yeah.
They were that way, when you were coming down in Collision in Canada going, hey guys, I know I like the hockey team, but I like your hockey team. Cheer me. And then later on the night, we do a fucking 6-man, and then we kind of half-ass cheer him. Fuck you, Punk, you piece of God shit. And again,
Still don't like that guy.
well, I don't like that guy. And here's the thing. Usually,
I don't
will
like
say
that
this
fucking guy.
well, and usually I will say this with the caveat. 98% of the time when I'm saying I don't like these fucking guys, it's the people I see on TV, right? I don't know
character.
Yeah, I don't know Mark Briscoe, but if that character is stupid, well, fuck that guy, right? Or I don't like Hangman doing this thing, which I do, but you get what I'm saying? So fuck that guy.
So not only do you not like CM Punk, you also don't like Phil Brooks here.
Yeah. The exception is him. I don't fucking like him. He's a fucking just a
him
petty
and his character
prick.
and his fucking horse he rode in on.
Yeah, I don't like anything about him. I don't fucking like anything about him. I used to, but I don't like him anymore because man, he has not changed. He is fucking emo music from 2010. You know what I mean? Fucking lame and not in style. But what we do get is some music. Next up, and we get a music video from the Acclaimed, and it's a diss track on the EVPs, and they're talking about how they're going to push them back farther than their hairline because blonde EVP is balding. They even say spilling the tea on the dirt sheets, and it's you guys, something to that effect, And then Jack Perry, haha. They even allude to it, like you got Jack Perry. Wonder why you did that. And then Okada came for the money and all that. What did you think of the music video?
I like it. I'd like, especially when we've got an established feud going on with these guys, that we get a video once in a while instead of just walk out to the ring, the 4-bar rap or whatever he does, right? Like, I like this when they put a little more production into it. Sometimes get this, and this was not terrible, right? Again, this is not we're not winning any awards here on this thing. But good stuff, right? Made fun of the Young Bucks, punked them out a little bit, so that's fine. But this is kind of what we get with the Acclaims. Like I said, I'm kind of what's next. This feels like when we did the pancakes too much with the New Day, right? I'm ready for. I'm on with you where maybe Blood and Guts could give them an edge, right? Maybe we could turn them a little more street. If that's a bad term, I don't know. Yeah, I see you active there in the chat with Theo P. Welcome, Theo. Long time. Tom, you might have to run. I think I'm frozen. You might have to keep running.
Oh, well, here we go. You did freeze, so I'm going to keep it going. So mentioning or talking about what we have coming up next, as mentioned before, we get a Stampede Street fight. And for the world champion, the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, with the Bad Apple and Brian Keith, take on Samoa Joe. And Samoa Joe and Chris Jericho, they do their thing. I wouldn't say that necessarily they had the best chemistry in the world, but they're two veterans. They know what to do. If something messes up, they know how to, recalibrate and get back on track. But we get this fight, obviously a street fight, leaves the ring. We go into the back, and that's when the Bad Apple, Brian Keith, and the Redwood, whatever the fuck we're calling him, beats up on Samoa Joe, beat him up. And then Samoa Joe gets choke slammed on a pallet that's on a forklift. It didn't look like it hurt that bad, but
Recording
is
in
going to
progress.
hurt the wall, but I really don't understand how that hurts Samoa Joe. Like, just kind of brace and you're fine, but this took him out. Oh my goodness. And Samoa Joe gets stretchered out. Chris Jericho shows his evil, vindictive, mean side again. And this is the second person that we've taken out. So we took out Hook with the fireball. Now we've taken out Samoa Joe with the forklift. Tim, we've got Shibata left with this translating, phone. What happens to Shibata, you think?
Goddamn, I'm just trying to worry about what's happening to my goddamn self over here on the goddamn live stream. See, Tom, this is the fun you get when you watch the live stream. Anything might pop off, anything might go crazy. We were on the learning tree, right? Am I
Shibata.
So showing it back in, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Samoa Joe. So Samoa Joe gets driven through a wall that he's on a forklift. Kind of doesn't seem like that would hurt. It would seem like it would hurt if you were standing and the forklift drove through you and through the wall. That would hurt. But again, I understand we're not going to do that stuff. But Samoa Joe is taken out. And now we have Shibata left in this, last man standing because they took out Hook with the fireball. And now they've taken out Samoa Joe. What do you think happens to our guy Shibata? Does he prevail? Does he also go down in flames like the other two?
I just don't know if there's a whole lot of future in getting behind it, right? Like I don't see what we could do with him necessarily, right? Getting a victory here and being the victor, right? And keeping the bad guys at bay, I guess. So I think he might just get moved on to something else, right? Might also fall victim. And
I think he's going to fall victim. I think, breaking kayfabe for a moment, I saw someone repost this, but apparently the reason why Samoa Joe left on a stretcher and, oh my God, this was the worst thing in the world, is he's going to be filming that TV show that he's in, season 2, where he's the clown. And so he's got to take some weeks off to do that. So this is a perfect way to do it. So I would think, knowing that information, that potentially we're going to get Shibata gets taken out. Hook comes back. Hook's going to take on all three. We get it at a Dynamite, big name Dynamite, or maybe even a pay-per-view. And then Samoa Joe comes back and he just runs through everyone. That is what my guess would be, but we shall see.
Yeah, I saw that too about him. That's Twisted Metal, as Fuck Your Mama 2 times in the chat says. He says you should check it out. Not a bad show. Fuckers killed a guy on a forklift through a wall. So, I mean,
But so here's again, Tim, let's be real. Let's stay in kayfabe. Let's not break kayfabe. How does that hurt you?
Yeah, I know. Like, especially when I see that, like, that wall didn't look to be cement or nothing, right? Like, yeah, you just went through the...
Well, I understand that part. Let's say it was a real wall, because again, you can't really do that,
Still,
right?
I mean, it might not feel great, right? I agree, right? Like, you might get scratched up, maybe a little bit of bruising.
Yeah,
because
you would just, because I understand, like,
if the ceiling fucking fell down on you when it happened, right? But like, yeah.
But the idea, I think, is he got driven through this wall, but really you would just turn your shoulder, let the forklift go, and then you would just...
Did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know how that really hurt, but I digress.
Remember when they taught us how we would live through a tornado? You just...
I mean, that is how you do it, right? Yes.
Right.
So I digress, as one of the best commentators would say, who wasn't there this night. It was actually Nigel McGuinness, who fucking rules just as well.
He's so good.
He's so fucking good.
He's so good at just being a dick. Like, he's
so Bryan Danielson. I love that he stays into the gimmick that he is, right? Bad guy, good guy, he kind of flips, but no matter what Bryan Danielson does, even if he is a bad guy,
fuck that guy. Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
That's perfect.
What a douche.
That's perfect. All right, so as we move on, we get a Global Glory 4-way match with the winner getting a shot at the International Championship, which makes sense. International competitors. Cool. So we get Claudio, Kyle Fletcher, Pac, and Ishii. And Tim,
Yeah.
I said this on our Threads account, and I'll say it to you now. Watching Ishii just unleash his violence is so pleasant. I fucking love it. It's just,
it is like if you took a Rock'em Sock'em robot that had like a wind up thing on the back, and you just were like, and crank, let it go, and he's just like, I'm fucking like start murdering people. It's awesome.
Well, he's the Stone Pitbull is his nickname, so it makes sense. The feeling I get is, in past Deadpool movies, they like to be ironic and they would play like, some Celine Dion heartfelt ballad as Deadpool is like killing people. That's how I feel watching Ishii. Like, it just warms my heart. I'm just like, let's get some tea and watch Ishii put his head through someone's chest. Love it.
Well, and he did that here in this Global Glory Hole 4-way, right?
He did.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he does not win this match. It is the bastard Pac. How do we say it? Pac. So
Pac.
here, Pac Pocky.
He went packing.
So what was interesting is after he wins, he goes and cuts a promo where he's basically saying, hey, I came back and I talked all this shit and things haven't gone my way. And so he said, I know it's all in season and I won't be denied my Wembley moment. So let tonight's victory be a line in the stand. The bastard will be back. So it feels as if he's saying, hey, you guys want to know when I'm going to cash this in or when I'm going to get this opportunity? It's all in. So how do you think about that? How do you feel?
That's fine. The phrasing of it, like, well, I'll be back. It's like, you seem to go and come back a lot.
Well,
there's a lot of extenuating circumstances around that over the years. But yeah, hey, look, Pac at Wembley doing his thing for a title like this is going to be a moment. So I can't hate on what's happening here.
And if it's for the international championship, it'll be interesting on who that champion will be.
Whom is that?
Because we got MJF and we've got Will Ospreay.
And then you'll lose and you'll get to wear this shirt.
No, look, it's yours. I think it's yours. It just stays yours.
Well, I mean, I currently hold it, but when you lose the next picks.
Yeah, you're the first person to double up.
Here,
so how about that? You're the first person to get it 2 times in a row. Fuck your mama 2 times.
Thanks.
And fuck that shirt 2 times. Hey, but we move on, and Renee Paquette is backstage.
Can't even hate on you for that one. That's guy.
Thank you. And she's standing there, and it feels as if she was maybe going to do something else, and then Hangman walks past her. And, there's a lot of rivalries in AEW, right? We have Kenny Omega, John Moxley. We have MJF, CM Punk. We have the Elite versus AEW right now, right?
And we have Hangman
with Renee Paquette. That is low key a real
Moxley
rivalry.
Yeah. But this,
but like because what was interesting?
Oh yeah, I love because she was like Hangman, right? Like she basically pulled up and was like, "Can I get a little respect here?" And like
because he doesn't. Right? Ever since the John Moxley dust up, that relationship has been, weakened. And this is when Renee's like, hey, I get that you're mad, motherfucker, but I have a job. So let me do my job. And Hangman, to his heel credit, goes, get the fuck on. And Renee's like, you asshole.
I was just talking about the announcers in this sort of approach with my boss, honestly. He was talking about Gene Okerlund. And Gene Okerlund was very adamant. He's like, wrestlers, I don't want them touching me, right? Like, I ain't about that. Like in legit, like in shoot was like, no, I wasn't down for that. Which is why he kind of adopted a thing I always liked where he would be like, don't you fucking touch me, I'm suing you, right? Like, I got lawyers, bitch, I ain't in on this, man. You're going down. You touch me, right? Like, I kind of like Renee being a little more like, quote unquote, past real journalist. Like, no, you don't get to walk away, bitch. Answer me.
Well,
right? Like,
because she has the credibility, right? Like whoever that new girl is that they got, and I'm not trying to say a girl, it could be even who's the dopey guy?
Girl.
Alex Marvez.
Alex
right?
Marvez. Yeah, your favorite.
Yeah, he can't get that because he's a fucking dope.
Do they have an Alex Marvez shirt? We need to get.
Oh god, that'd be the worst. That'd be worse than the Jeff Jarrett shirt, honestly. But don't do it. But with Renee Paquette, she has a body of work that says, I'm credible. You know, I'm credible. I deserve respect in this locker room, just like any other wrestler. So fucking give it to me. I really like that. Now, Hangman says, get on and get. And then we get Hangman knocking on a door of the Elite. Okada answers and is kind of the muscle here and just goes, can I help you? Hangman's like, fucking cool, haha. And then tries to get in, and Okada's like, no, can I help you? Here comes the EVPs. Hangman just looks at him and says, I'll do it. And then storms off. Okada says, you guys okay? And then essentially they said, oh, now we are. I think we're going to be just fine. Later on in the night, the graphic confirms what we believe here. Hangman now is the last member of the Elite. Earlier mentioned, Swerve is on Team AEW. Is Swerve going to make it to All In? Because Blood and Guts is before All In. Is Hangman even going to let Swerve get there?
Who knows what's going to happen? And actually, Cool Cam said, "Did I miss Tom booking what Hangman does at All In?" Man, who knows where this is going? I love that Hangman is just on this mission, right? Whatever it takes. Like I said, the match. The only stipulation that he cares about is, can I get in a match with Swerve? The title match was a one-on-one match opportunity with Swerve. Didn't get that. I know another match exists now that Swerve's going to be in, and they want me to be in it. Cool. I'm in.
I'm in. Yeah. It's very interesting. To answer Cool Cam's question here, did I miss Tom's booking of what happens to Hanger at All In? No, because I really don't know. Now, there's so many. Here's what I think it's contingent on. Right now, we're kind of in this limbo where Hangman's only objective is Swerve. As mentioned earlier in the show, he has this little dust up with Jeff Jarrett. I don't feel like Cowboy versus Cowboy is going to work in London at All In. So I don't know if we necessarily do that. So I really think whatever happens at Blood and Guts, we will understand the pathway for Hangman at All In Wembley. So it's going to be interesting. This is what, Tim, God bless America. I fucking love
and nowhere else, right?
And nowhere else. No, just a phrase here, but it's so fucking good because the best television, in my opinion, is when heels and baby faces motivations make them go in the gray area of life, right? When the baby faces kind of have to do the Denzel Washington thing in every fucking movie he's been in and go like, I might have to shoot and kill someone, right? And then when the heels have this motivation that is true, like Hangman, again, let's not forget, Hangman's sole motivation on getting at Swerve is because Swerve went into his house and threatened his child and his family. He even mentions they had to leave because they were so afraid. Why aren't we behind that?
Why are you cheering this fucker?
Right?
I know. Like, but he's fucking cool. And no, come on.
Yeah. So it's so interesting. And even MJF, right? Hey, I opened up to you and you guys pushed me to the side. I will burn this place to the ground. It's fucking great, Tim.
Fuck Your Mama 2 times says the Brits love a good spaghetti western. And he says, by the way, did you know spaghetti westerns were called that because they were made by Italians? I mean, that's news to me. I didn't know that. There you go. Hangman, Jeff Jarrett.
No, I hope that's not it. I really don't. Hey, but we go back in the ring and it's time for the TBS and New Japan Strong Women's Championship celebration. And Mercedes Moné comes out, and here's to her credit. She's fully a fucking asshole.
Leaning into the cheese on
Lean
this.
into it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's quick. This went quick. Like, we didn't stick around too long. I liked this. Yeah.
And the line that I thought was really great in Canada was that she said she was the best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be. kudos, right? I don't fucking like her. I still don't like her, but I gotta tip my cap when you do something cool, and that was cool. So she says all of these things, and then here comes Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, with a cowboy hat, because I guess we're in Stampede country.
Because, yeah.
And she just punches the shit out of security. And
she
Mercedes
assaults a couple dudes.
Yeah, which whatevs. And because here's the thing.
Then, like, she assaults 2 dudes, and then 6 other dudes are like, all right, have your pass. We're about to go get fired because we just let you right by us.
Here's what I would challenge AEW on, because they pushed the envelope of tropes more than obviously WWE or anyone else. Have some female security, right? Have some female security that goes, Britt Baker, no, no, no. And then she's like, whop, motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because in
couple
this
ovarian delights.
Yeah, cunt punt, you know what I mean? Because again,
well, how's your mother?
Not to make this a bigger conversation, but in society, men can't put their hands on women, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, they're already in this weird space. So make it a female.
She could have came out dressed as a Mountie and had like a little prod and just electrocuted them.
Oh, if she would have came dressed out as the Mountie, that would have been fucking
that place
awesome.
would have erupted, honestly. I know I'm saying that to kind of like shit on WWE, but like
no, that would have fucking, I would have lost my shit. But Britt Baker chases her off. Then the fans chant DMD. Side note, and this is just an observation, just as I would say this about any guy who comes back, Britt Baker may be in the best shape she's ever been in AEW.
Yeah.
She is shredded. I mean, she's got muscles just not even flexing. She's looking
kicking
great.
Dudes' beards off, man. She's fit right now. Yep.
Yeah, and she is going into All In looking like $1 million. But hey, we go backstage and Brandon Cutler, remember that guy? He's fucking begging for his life. And Darby Allin grabs the microphone and he says, Jack Perry, what'd you say? We all have to make sacrifices? Well, Brandon Cutler just made his. And then he goes, the Elite, you think this is over? Dynamite 250. We're just getting started. So I guess what I'm asking you here, Tim, is Darby Allin also going to be in Blood and Guts?
I feel like it, or he's gonna play a Sting-esque role where maybe he's not hiding in the rafters, but he's in the back and he's fucking with things all the way there and even the day of, right? Like finds a way, right? So maybe there's that. Poor Brandon Cutler, because he hasn't been tied to these guys for this. And now he catches this stray from Darby Allin. And all of a sudden we're like,
he does a little bit, but yeah. He isn't walking out there with them.
Well, and the whole thing is like, it's even better because they still get to be shit heels because they're gonna be like, oh, fucking Brandon,
whatever.
You know?
He'll show up next week. Yeah, it's fine.
We've got so many stories waiting in the wings to get Brandon Cutler some flowers, man. I'm ready to book this guy a moment. I feel like he's deserving of playing that like shit on loser so many times that I feel like we got to get him a moment now, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. I definitely think similar to how I think Luchasaurus
feels early Zack Ryder, right? Like Long Island IZ when they were just like, no, you know what? We know you're really over on the internet, but we feel like you should lose every match in an embarrassing fashion, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's kind of what it feels like with Brandon Cutler. It's like, man, just less over maybe.
It feels a little Mizdow to me, right? Where it's like, we like you because you're slapstick, but come on, are we really going to win anything?
Yeah,
now,
we don't want him to win a title, but a nice moment, right? A little thing where we're like, yeah, fuck that guy, kick him in the nuts.
But I do think he's going to get a moment, very similar to how I think Luchasaurus is going to get I'm a dinosaur, which we'll talk about after Dynamite because there is a collision match where we got to see
somebody if we get that
the return. Oh, if that happens, I'm fucking going to Jacksonville and I'm going to take a shit right on the 50-yard line of that fucking Jaguar. That's what I'm doing.
You're like, and then I'm going to go talk to Tony Khan about this situation because that's just about the football team. After that.
Dickhead, you tried to hurt Patrick Mahomes. I haven't forgot. High ankle sprain because you fucking dirty-ass players.
Did it.
Yeah, and you know
did
did
it on purpose.
purpose.
And he still fucking boat raced you.
Yeah, motherfucker. Hey, so Dynamite 250, he says we're just getting started. Two questions I got for you here.
Patrick Mahomes is he's won 2 of 3 straight Super Bowls.
Yeah, he's won more playoff games and just as many championships as Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. But Dynamite 250, I got two questions for you.
Yeah, Dynamite 250.
One, what do you think Darby Allin's going to be doing? And two, it seems like because he name checks first, Jack Perry. Here's where I'm a little bit nervous. So Jack Perry is your new TNT champion, right? It feels as if, and this is just a gut feeling, All In is going to be Jack Perry versus Darby Allin for the TNT championship. However, haven't we kind of played all our cards with Darby Allin and the TNT title
I would
picture?
think so, unless we get some kind of mixed or triple threat of some kind of thing. I do agree. I do think Darby is one right now that he's at a point where like he could lose that match though, and be all right, and still help building Jack Perry as like cutthroat, turned really evil bastard. So I think it could work still. But yeah, it feels like you better lean into something story-wise to make it a little more palatable, I think.
Yeah. Darby Allin, John Moxley, I think, are Teflon. I think you could have them lose 60 matches in a row and then win the championship, and it all makes sense, right? Like now for Darby Allin, it would be a mid-card. I do think eventually we should push Darby Allin back into that main event picture because we did the 4 pillars match, A championship run with Darby Allin as the face of your company would be kind of cool. Wouldn't be just a white dude that looks like every other trainer at 24-hour fitness. Anyhow, we go on to our main event, Tim.
Main event of the evening.
So much fucking shit to talk about. God damn it. I'm so pumped.
Anything interesting happened at the conclusion?
Yes, all of it. All of it, Tim. Oh my God. I've been waiting since the second the show ended to talk about this with someone. I've been yelling at my action figures for fucking 5 hours about this shit.
You sent me a link of 8 hours you were like, if you don't have time to do the show, you can just take anything from this. It's just you ranting about this.
I fucking love it. So we got everyone's favorite Willow Nightingale versus Mariah. Gotta do it. Versus Mariah May with Timeless Tony Storm and Luther the Butler. Okay. Now I'll say this. I said it on Threads. If you don't smile or get happy when Willow Nightingale walks to the ring, I don't want you to listen to this podcast or be a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Just get on with your life. Go read a book. Yeah. Go read a book. I suggest
you speak with a therapist. Yeah.
Yeah. Go read a book about measurements, you fucking nerd. Like, get out of here, you fucking loser. Yeah. Oh, what's 3 3/4? I mean, fuck you.
This fucking weights and measures, volume 3.
Yeah. So we get this match, and what I thought, Tim, I'll get your feedback, but I'll go first here. What I thought was going to be the moment of the match was Stokely Hathaway gets involved. Willow Nightingale is grabbing him and kind of moving him around. It did take a touch too long, but grabbing him and moving along. And Chris Statlander does the drive-by kick to the head.
Stat attack.
Yeah, the stat attack is we were going to call. I like that. Did they call it that?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, no, I don't know.
I like it. Yeah, that's really good. And cost Willow Nightingale the match. Mariah May gets the victory. Now, it wasn't instant, right? Willow got some comeback moves here, but she does succumb to Mariah May's hip attack and whatever. And Mariah May wins. I thought, there you go, right? We're going to now build to the tension of Mariah May and Timeless Tony Storm. And we've got our match with Willow and Chris Statlander. We could have.
I mean, there would have been good TV with that, with them being friendly, but then building to this, and
perfect, right? And so we've got 2 women's programs to move us forward into the coming weeks. Awesome. So Mariah May wins. Here's another detail that I thought was interesting. Willow takes the loss like a champ, stands up, shakes her hand. Mariah May doesn't do the slap away or anything like that. She just shakes her hand as well.
Yeah. Feels pride, like, all right, thanks. Yeah.
Willow exits the ring, which, by the way, she was dressed in Owen Hart adjacent gear, like a homage to his Danger, enough is enough and it's time for a change. I like that. But anyhow,
like a road
she
sign.
leaves the ring. Yeah, exactly. She leaves the ring. Timeless Tony Storm celebrates as if she just saw her kid graduate high school.
Yeah, is just loving every minute of this. Is so excited.
Yeah.
So excited.
And they are just two peas in a pod. Everything is great. Luther's still giving that side eye.
That's right. When he was a nugget.
Oh, yeah. In a nugget. Yeah. I remember that. So we get them celebrating. I think at one point Mariah May jumps in Tony Storm's arms and they do a twirl. Then they leave the ring. And as Tony Storm has to get into the ring, she has to remove her shoes because she can't be running around in heels, right? So she removes her shoes. As they leave the ring, she's like, well, I'm going to grab these, right? These are my shoes.
And Tony's even like, look, your belt, like your own heart
Yeah.
trophy.
As we go up to the entry ramp or entrance ramp, they're skipping. As you mentioned, Tony Storm goes, this is yours. Almost like a Wizard of Oz. Like, here it is in
Look
color,
what awaits you, your prize. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been kind of cool. Again, hindsight 2020. I always think I could do it better than anyone else. But what could have been cool here is she wins the match. She shakes the hand of Willow. We go black and white. They're celebrating. Tony Storm does the reveal and we go into color because now she's getting the picture or now she's going to get the title. That would have been cool, but I get it.
Love that. Yeah, that's good.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
So we go up to the entrance ramp and again, Tony Storm, hey, grab the belt. Mariah May says, okay. And fuck you. Flap. Hits her in the head Flap. And then smacks her over the back with the belt.
Whipping her.
With a belt. This isn't like a fucking belt you get at John Deere or some shit. Like, this is a real fucking belt.
Even better is now out come like the refs to stop her, and she
before that though, Luther goes to stop her.
Oh, that's right, Luther.
And she hits Luther, and then fucking yeets him.
Luther's known since day one.
Yes.
Luther's known. He's fucking never trusted her.
Yeah, and she yeets him off the fucking stage through a table, so he's out. And then Tony Storm's the best wrestler in the world. I love Hangman. I love Swerve. I love Samoa Joe. There are so many people. Bryan Danielson, all amazing. Will Ospreay's moving up there. MJF, a classic generational talent. But right now, what is this? July 11th? July 11th, 2024 at 8:09 in the One True Time Zone. The best wrestler in the fucking world is Tony Storm. There ain't fucking nothing changing my mind. She does everything amazing. And Tim, how many fucking times have we seen someone turns on someone else and it gets a little bloody, right? Seen it a million times. Dude, she made this so uncomfortable with the crying as she's getting beat. And the detail that fucking gets me chills. Like I got fucking goosebumps thinking about it. It's like a scary movie. It was so fucking good. God damn it. She gets her over here to like show her off because she's all bloody. And Mariah May grabs the shoe and you can hear her crying. And then once the first hit, the blunt force hits her skull, she goes unconscious, right? That's it. And then it's over. And like, that's a fucking scary movie fucking scene. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was great. Really done well here. And again, the element of surprise on that, right? Like the grabbing the belt, they didn't do the stand there and then the attack. Just she grabbed it and like turned at the hips, man. Like she had that whole plan the whole time. Watch for the shoe. Oh.
Yeah, Excalibur, I think, even says she should have watched for the shoe, or someone said that.
So,
I think it was.
And my part was like when the refs come out and she just like stomach shoves her across the damn stage. And at one point, I think like one of the other refs went over and I was like, no, fine. Like, just laid there. And it was like, Jesus. Yeah, like fucking like decleated her with that shove. Like, again, added to the realism. It was great.
Oh my God. And then just shows her off like one of those Republican pricks who shoots a deer that doesn't know about it and just
Yeah,
fucking stands
yeah.
over her
This animal that I
bloody.
killed that didn't know it was in a fight.
Yeah, fucking losers. Oh, look at this. This one has 10 fucking horns. Cool. Fucking idiot. Give the deer a gun. Let's see if you fucking survive. Dumb shit. I hate that. Anyhow, but she stands over like that, right? Like a look what I just did. She even poses at one time, and they have the graphic for All In Tony Storm
Yeah.
versus Mariah May.
Yeah, just like a bummer.
And
And she's like holding her head. Just,
yeah, and
uh,
you hear the whimpering. Again, Mariah May
mhm.
does awesome. The timing was perfect. All of it great. The fucking thing that takes this to a 20 on a scale of 1 to 10 was the details from Tony Storm as
They're
she's
just these like
whimpering.
guttural,
Yeah.
yeah.
And she's being held. Her head is there and she's kind of in and out of consciousness and she's whimpering and she's crying. And that's the thing too, is you would think, hey, Tony Storm's been hit in the head with a title before. Like she could have fought back, but it was all tears. It was crying from the second Mariah May broke her heart.
So the question here, Tom, is we've talked about timeless Tony Storm has to go through various times to remain timeless. Is this a moment that spins her to another time, or do we got to get through this battle before that happens?
Tim, I wish, like, I know that wrestling never stops, but I kind of wish this was the season finale. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of
I know.
wish 4 weeks we wouldn't get anything because I want this to live. You know what I mean? Like, I want this
you could
to
just
be...
have her not show up, right? For the next couple of weeks. How many weeks we got until this thing?
It's August, like
yeah, it's August. So,
August, so
yeah,
we got some time. I don't know, because here's the thing. I think because of the brutality, and at the end, Nigel McGuinness, I'm looking at all AEW's website here. He says at the end, he goes, it's the end of an affair. Excalibur says, this is despicable. And then Tony Schiavone ends it with ungodly, right? So those are really descriptive, serious terms here, right? So I don't think this feud would work if Tony Storm's like, and then it's the 80s. Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah, it feels wrong timing for this feud. But if this isn't a moment that, I guess it doesn't have to be like a knockout moment, right? That changes it to a different time. It could just be a spiraling out of control moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because here's what I think. How do you feel about this? We will do our picks as the story unfolds, right? And we get closer to the pay-per-view.
And you'll get this shirt.
You keep it, brother. It's right there. Fits you well. So it feels as if to me that Mariah May should win. Well. The best way to end this story is for the evil Mariah May to take her spot at the throne of which Tony Storm.
Yeah, she's got to win this. It feels like, as our chatter said earlier here. What was their name again? Jordan Kirby. If they're still hanging on, yeah. I mean, doesn't she have to win here?
Yeah, I mean, and so then that's where the spiraling into another decade can come from.
Right.
But I feel as if,
especially if Luther were to turn sides.
Well, so here's the
Luther
thing.
Could be with her in every time. That could be fun if he was like, yeah.
Well, I think he should. And I think what would be cool is both of them fucking switch here, right? So Tony Storm, I don't show her next week, right? Do not show her next week. Just show the recap, right? But then when we do see her finally come back, she's Tony Storm, not the fucking first Tony Storm, not Timeless. She's Tony Storm. If she goes by a different name, say that, right? Like you have attacked this person.
She's Patricia Johnson. Let's be that, right?
Yeah. Like you have broken what we have done here, right? And Luther should be the exact same way. Don't have him in a
but I guess Storm isn't her real last name, if that's what you're saying.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying, whatever, right? But like, this is where they both come back and they're like, oh no, we're going to fuck you up. And by the way, the butler that you always laughed at, he's the king of this shit. He's going to show me right there the death match style. And I'm going, and this is what I hope she says. Cause again, let's fucking turn this shit up. I hope she says, I'm going to kill you. Like fucking say it. You know what I mean? Oh,
love it. Love it. This was good stuff. I like, again, cliffhanger of like what happens next, right? Like we established enough. Like we get it now. But like, how will this respond? When will she respond? What's Luther's role? What is Mina? Sure,
well, so Mina actually says on social media, my emotions are too much or something. I'm paraphrasing here, but like, I'm so conflicted. This hurts my feelings. What happened? All of this. So does Mina come back and it's like, hey, Tony, or excuse me. I think there you go. This is how you buy some time. Mariah May takes out Tony Storm. Tony Storm is unconscious for 3 weeks, right? Whatever.
Mariah May's talking that shit in the ring.
Mariah May, I fucking did this.
Your time is up. My time is now. Something like that.
Something like that. Mina, then you bring back Mina, and Mina's like, hey, we triple kissed at the fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah.
What the hell was this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we had 3 tongues, bitch. Like, what the fuck?
Well, because, even some of her thing is like,
you made me kiss this bitch just to bloody her up? What the fuck was that, you sicko?
Well, but that's my point here is she could say, like, you got me involved in this. Like, you betraying. Yeah, because like you betraying Tony Storm is your own thing. But when you brought me into this and then you brought me as a mark, right? Don't say mark, but like as me as a mark in this whole plan of yours, now I'm fucking pissed. Now I got to take you out. And then we can get some match out of that with Mariah May. Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, Mina needs to get involved while Tony Storm recovers.
Well, fuck your mama says she has a Cinderella tournament for Stardom in 2 weeks, so she probably won't be a part of this, unfortunately. Hey, man. Tony's got private jets.
Tony Khan can pay for whatever the tournament was going to lose without having Mina in it. Like, yeah. No offense, but Cinderella can fucking...
Can he pay some gay furry activists to keep hacking the Heritage Foundation? That would be fun. I'd like him to do that. Anyway, you didn't hear that story?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Going back to what we said earlier, fuck the Heritage Foundation, by the way. But,
yeah.
Team of gay furry activists hacked them, found a bunch of their stuff, showed they're likely lobbying for a foreign government in the wake of China. And one of their guys, the Heritage Foundation guys, contacts them on a chat thing and was like, what do you want from us? And they were like, nothing. We want to expose you, dumb bitch. And they were like, fuck you. And this guy lost his shit. He was like, you won't be able to dress up as a furry tiger when you're getting fucked in the ass in federal prison when I put you in federal prison next year. And they were like, real fucking professional dumbass. And he went on Twitter and was like losing his mind, was quoting Eminem lyrics and shit. And so they disbanded after they were like, yeah, we turned over all this shit. And so he started taking credit for disbanding them. And they were like, oh, so what you're saying is everything you said in this chat log is true and it was you? Like, good job, dumbass. Yeah. Fucking hilarious. So we live in the weirdest timeline. I like, this is the shit that makes me feel like we live in a simulation. Did you hear what is real geopolitical news? A team of gay, furry computer activists have exposed the Heritage Foundation as working with China. And it's insane. It's insane times we live in. Take care of each other, vote, and fuck Nazis. All right. Don't fucking punch them, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So let's get back to some fun shit here.
The wrestling here, yeah.
Yeah, the
this
wrestling.
man, oh my God. He was saying Mina has a Senate, so she might not be a part of this. So yeah, even if she's not a part of this, we can't see Tony Storm right away, right? We've got to see her start to be going crazy, and I think then we can get it to a different
if we hit
time.
Yes, if we hit every beat as we should going into this pay-per-view, do you think this should main event All In?
Oh, I don't see why not. I mean, it's main event and Dynamite. This feels like one of the biggest stories we've got in wrestling, period, right now. I mean,
well, and they're both English. So, they're both from England, I believe. So, you got that tie-in to the Wembley and all of that.
Yep.
But no offense to Swerve and whatever he's going to do in the Elite and all this, but like,
no other story. I mean, like Hangman Swerve feels big, right?
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah. But that feels like it should start the show, right? Like, we're going to get you to this level.
That also feels like that's not at a, like you're saying, a fucking
Mm-hmm.
conflict moment like this storyline is.
Yeah. Well, and it's going to be Danielson versus Swerve at All In, remember? So Brian Danielson, who won the championship.
Tony's from New Zealand. Same thing, says fucking mama.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's over on the other side of the water. She is? I thought she was English.
Call back New Zealand? No, I do think that's right. I think she is from New Zealand.
Okay.
I think she's Aussie. Which was the criminals that England sent.
Wait a minute. Aussies are Australian. Aussies are Australian.
Yeah.
So New Zealand.
New Zealand. Yeah, the same thing.
Yeah, all those people. Thank you for the support over there. New Zealand?
Yeah, one of those things. Yeah. It's the big island, and then there's a little one over there, you know? One of those.
Yeah. I'm excited for this. Let's take a look because we haven't gone too long. So let's just take a quick look. Do we got a Collision coming up? What do we got Collision doing here? So we've got Blood and Guts on July 24th. It's July 11th right now. So we got, 2 shows to go for there. I don't see anything coming up as far as anything advertised for Collision, but I'm also not looking too terribly hard. So yeah, I'm just so excited for everything Mariah May and Toni Storm.
Well, and just AEW right now, I feel like there's a lot of attention to stories and how they step by step, beat by beat hit them each week, right? I feel like we are getting more of an overview look of the show and how it should flow with the stories, right? We get story. There's not a lot of this lag time where people are out there trying to figure out what to say anymore, right? Like I feel like we've got a little bit more oversight. I don't know who's leading that, how it's come about, but right now it feels like the pace is better and we're getting more intriguing reasons to care while these people are fighting.
I would say one thing that as AEW matures into the company that they hopefully will be, that I think that could do from a story perspective is right now hit on stories, right? MJF's heel storyline arc, Hangman's heel storyline arc, The Elite versus AEW, Toni Storm, Mariah May, Mercedes Moné, Britt Baker, all of these things, right? But then you can kind of dip, and that's where we get the tournaments, right? That's where we get the Continental Classic, where there's not much story here except for we want to win because of X reason, right? Like the story is in the tournament. And then once we get out of the tournament, that's when we get back into here's the fucking story. Like if we can do this like nice balance of in and out of heavy stories, okay, we're going to give you pro wrestling, right? Because that is important, right? You can't just have backstage segments for 2 hours. You got to have some pro wrestling.
Having so like we've got an Owen Hart tournament. In a couple months we'll have a Continental Classic, right? So like kind of what you're saying, like weave in and out of like, right? Using tournaments as sort of this base to kind of like reshuffle. It's not a terrible idea. Not a terrible idea.
Yeah, I think that would be the thing that could appease all fans, right? Because we're not the fans that like, for example, of the show, and I'll speak for you, but please feel free to disagree if you want. I think of everything in the show, the Global Force 4-way was probably our least thing that we enjoyed, even though the wrestling was awesome. As I mentioned, Ishii is fucking great. So is Claudio.
Well, Jericho was on the show, but
Yeah, but he did at least the fucking.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he at least killed a man.
Yeah. So there was that. But there are people who say, I just want to see Will Ospreay versus Claudio go 20 minutes and you get every fucking move possible. So that's where the tournaments can come in, right? So we can be happy because we're going to get Toni Storm and Mariah May. The other side of the AEW fan can be happy because they're going to get a tournament with all of these people.
Then. Yeah. Because again, it fits when it's a tournament and these are who can battle it out. It feels like a workhorse thing, right? And so cool, we get the workhorse matches. That adds an element of story that otherwise wouldn't be there. And so that's I like that.
Yeah, I am so excited for the build up to Blood and Guts, the build up to All In. We're going to have a fallout from Blood and Guts that's going to be out of this world. Going back to an earlier call out, I think that's where we're going to get the Hangman narrative that goes into London and Wembley for All In. And then we've got so many other things. Tim, you know who we didn't mention? The fucking backbone of AEW, Jon Moxley. That's what I'm saying. This show is so fucking deep that the best, no offense to anyone else, but in my opinion, the best, most reliable plug and play person that they have, John Moxley, wasn't even on the show. Orange Cassidy wasn't even on this show. You know what I mean? Like, we've got some heavy hitters kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting for their turn, which is amazing. I just fucking love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Except for get rid of Jericho, replace him with Ricky Starks, and then we're good. Then we're perfect. Have Ricky Starks play Chris Jericho, and it's perfect.
Yeah, this would have been great roles for him. Doing everything Jericho has done.
Everything Jericho is doing is fine, except for I hate it because it's him.
Because even Ricky Starks doing it and calling himself like the learning tree, people would be like, bitch, you've been doing this 6 years. What are you talking? You know what I mean? Like, and he would have been like, shut up. I'm clearly better than you. I'm like a veteran in my young age, right?
I was the man who got rid of CM Punk. Don't you remember? He was supposed to fight me and he tucked his tail and he ran to the other side. Like, he could easily say that, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, it could be great. I'm excited for all that. I'm also excited for everybody that joined us here. Justin Floor was also in the chat. Fuck your mama 2 times. Theo P, Cool Cam, Jordan Kirby, and a bunch of other folks, right, that we may have forgot. And encourage everybody to check us out, allelitewrapup.com. Stick with us so we can talk about this next week. AEW Dynamite is hot, Tom. And I don't know. What else? Anything else before we get the fuck out of here? Just tell everybody.
Watch Collision on Saturday. Let's keep this shit going. You know what I mean? Watch Rampage on Friday. Watch Collision on Saturday. Let's keep the bus moving.